Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
You 5-4-6. Couple days after, but I'm finally getting this video out. Paulson Adebo, I think he's going to make the Giants secondary great. I think he's going to, of course, coming in alongside Javon Holland. He was our first real signing. I don't think we even signed any free agent before him. And I think he's worth every penny. Of course, he's coming off the broken leg. Looked healthy. Was doing videos of him doing backflips and stuff during the offseason. So, you know, with the bone, it's not as big of a concern as if it were a ligament or a muscle. So I'm happy with the signing. We got him at a decent price. I think it was around like 17 million. I think if he were healthy, I think he probably would be around 20+ million per year if he were healthy. So coming off of that injury, I don't expect there to be, like I said, a slowdown. And he is a guy that's a bump and run type of man corner that you can also use in that cover 3 kind of situation too. And I think he'll be a nice fit in the cover 3. And I think he's just the cornerback one we needed. Of course, if Deonte Banks steps up, that's only better for everybody else. To go through some of his analytics, he had a 51.7% completion percentage allowed, which was 13th among cornerbacks. He had 5.9 yards per target allowed, which was 11th among cornerbacks. He had a 71.2 passer rating, which was 10th among cornerbacks. He had a forced incompletions of 14, which was 6th in the NFL, and he didn't play the whole season. 3 interceptions this past year, 12 pass breakups, which puts him at 12th in the NFL. When looking at his EPA, opposing offenses usually lost about 0.18 points per play, expected points per play, so that put him top 15. His run stop rate was slightly above average at 4.1%. His missed tackle rate was 8.3%. which puts him in the top half of cornerbacks in the NFL, so much better than we've had. And then 1.7 yards per attempt after contact, which puts him in the top 20. So he's coming at about 6'1", 192. Prototypical corner, nice size, nice strength. And I would say his only downside is he doesn't have that elite long speed, but he makes up for it with the physicality and the ball skills. So let's get straight to it. After all of those numbers, let's watch the actual tape. Paulson Adebo, bottom of your screen. His receiver is running an outpost here to start. Adebo is outside leverage. And one thing about Adebo, he'll have outside leverage, but he doesn't shade. He doesn't really shade his body to where he'll be facing this way. His feet are always square to the line of scrimmage, even though he's lined up outside. This is going to end up being, I think, cover 3 here. And he understands where he has his help. He's got a linebacker or a safety, can't tell which one that is, inside here. So he lets him get that inside release. So let's take a look here. Receiver is going to get the inside release. Outside jab kind of step. Back inside. And Adebo looks to be beat, but again, he understands where his help is. And he allows that if this receiver gets inside, I have help there. So because he knows that, he's able to get back into play. And he's got an undercut on that route there. Take a look at how he locates this ball. Turn and look. A lot of times guys are beat and they're just trying so hard to get back into play that they're not even looking at the football, but this is almost intercepted. Take a look at how he dislodges this ball on the sideline with that right hand. I mean, that's just textbook the way he breaks this up. So right here you got Adebo again, and this is just another example of him. He gets beat here on this double move a bit, but he just doesn't give up on these plays, and he doesn't get flustered. So a lot of times he'll get beat, but he'll be back in the play even without the speed, just because he doesn't break his stride. He just keeps playing. So you're going to get a double move here from number 1. Takes the outside release, goes for the double, and they throw a flag here. But I want you to pay very close attention. He's back in this play. The only thing he did wrong was that he didn't turn. But he gets there right around the time the ball gets there, has his left arm inside to break that up. And that's kind of a bang bang kind of play. I mean, I can understand them throwing the flag because it can look like he's just wrapping them up. But for my eyes, he gets there when the ball gets there. Let's see when he makes it. I mean, like I said, it's a bang bang play. It's difficult to say when exactly he made contact. I mean, I see the ball like an inch away from the guy's hand. A lot of times this would be a clean play, but just because he grabbed him that way and he didn't necessarily turn his whole body to look for the ball, they throw that flag there. But it's a good example of, like I said, he didn't give up. The ball's in the air. He still found a way to get his hand on the ball. All right, so on this next play, you got Adebo right here at the bottom of your screen again. You're going to have Drake London, who's going to run it in. And you're going to get this deep safety. And you're going to get man across the board. I think he takes him. He takes him. He takes him, and so on. The linebacker has him. So you get man across the board, deep safety in the middle of the field. And Adebo is taking a look at Drake London. I have it frozen right here. I'm pretty sure Adebo is right here or right here, but I'm pretty sure this is him at the bottom. So let's take a look here how he adjusts to this. And this is a good example, even though he's in man, but because of this bunch, he has to play this like zone. So this is going to be an example of what he can do in a cover 3 defense. So watch him just drop back here at the bottom of your screen and just break on it, read that quarterback. And the way he broke on that ball, man, the way he broke on that football, it just shows that he can definitely play zone, dude. He can definitely play. It just shows he can definitely play zone defense, especially in a cover 3. I could see him getting back in his pedal, seeing everything that's in front of him, and jumping on these because he closed this distance pretty well. And again, he breaks up these passes with so much precision. I mean, he always uses the right hand. And when I say the right hand, I mean, in this case, the left hand to reach across, break that up. He does it really well. All right, so this is something I noticed here. You got Adebo here at the bottom of your screen. You got Darnell Mooney. Something I see, at least against Darnell Mooney, I haven't watched his full season, but something I saw against Darnell Mooney is he could possibly struggle against the shiftier receivers. The shiftier jitterbug receivers that usually aren't on the outside, I could see him struggling with. So take a look at Mooney. He's going to end up running a C route, pretty much a corner route here, and that's going to catch Adebo. So take a look inside, outside, and just, I mean, completely turns him around and is going to catch this on the sideline. Easy stuff for him. So ideally in this situation, you want to see Adebo trust his back pedal a little bit more. I mean, really difficult because you see him take that inside shot. He doesn't completely turn. And I mean, this is really just a really great route by Mooney. I mean, the only thing I could say is that instead of crossing his legs, it's a shuffle step inside to see if he stays that way. And that way, if you shuffle here and you're still square, you can take this inside foot, open it up, and that way you're not having to turn around. If that makes sense. If that makes sense, if there's a quick shuffle there, and then you just kind of pivot like you're on the post in basketball, you pivot back this way, and you can run to the sideline with him. But because he starts to commit, he starts to turn his body to run with Mooney this way, it just really breaks everything down. And you got a receiver that's wide open and gets turned around right there. And then he's got to make the tackle. All right, and this is another time. I think this is Drake London right here. You're going to get the same route, same corner route. And Adebo here at the bottom of your screen is going to bite on that inside again. So he sees that. He's got to stop turning his body inside. If you are outside, you know, if it's cover 3, you know, it's cover 3, you're outside, which means you're outside the numbers. Fine, turn inside. But you turning your whole body inside like this in the middle of the field, it's just not what I want to see right there. Just my opinion. But you know, he ends up getting beat on this route again, but does a great job at recovering. I think this pass could have still been completed if it was on target, but he does still do a good job of getting back in that window, at least not letting him make that one-handed catch himself. And I think even if he does make a regular catch, it becomes a little bit more of a contested catch because he got back in. All right, so on this next play, you're getting man coverage again. Adebo is right here. He's your man right here. And I think this receiver is going to be who Adebo ends up covering. He's running an end route here. And you got this other receiver running an outpost. Now, this is what I was talking about when I say Adebo should just stay in his back pedal as long as he possibly can. Because if a receiver runs into you, 9 times out of 10, the referees aren't going to throw the flag. This was something that Revis did really well, to where guys at the top of the route would try to, you know, get physical with them. But he just maintained his ground at the top of the rep and they never threw flags. You know, that's not pass interference if you're not initiating contact at the top of your route. So let's take a look at Adebo. He just stays in his back pedal, and you know, the guy starts to slip. He runs into him, and Adebo just has his eyes on the football and gets a really nice interception off the ground. You're just going to see Adebo pretty much grab this off of the ground. Great catch. So on his next play, you're manned up again. Adebo here, Drake London here, and you're just going to get a good old-fashioned in route. I think Adebo does a good job. He makes a little contact, but like I said, at the top of the route, if you're not being overly aggressive, they're not going to throw flags. So he knows this in route is coming, does a great job turning his hips after Drake London gets that outside release, and you just get a ridiculous catch from Drake London because this is great coverage. So let's take a look here. Drake London is going to be turning inside here, and just look at how he contests this. This is just a catch that, you know, you just chalk it up to a great catch from the receiver. All right, and folks, like I said, remember this is only one game. He's going to get that out route again, that corner route again from Darnell Mooney, and this time he stays right with it. So it's not an athletic issue. It's just he had a couple of mental breakdowns on a couple of these out routes and a couple of these C routes against Mooney. But take a look here. Adebo in the slot with Mooney #1, and he just stays with him. The ball ends up still going downfield, but it doesn't go down. So Paulson Adebo, like I said, is a great addition. I just tried to pick some plays from this particular game. He's not the best corner in the NFL, but he's definitely a guy who's top 10 at top 12 at worst. Coming off of that broken leg, I think he'll be just fine. You know, the bones, when they heal, they heal. If he can continue to be the player that he has already been, then the Giants secondary is getting a huge upgrade at corner. And remember, if you saw some of these plays and you're feeling like, oh, I don't like this player now because he got beat on these couple corner routes, I read the stats off at the beginning of the video. They speak for themselves as far as target percentage, EPA, quarterback rating, all of that. So he is a legitimate starting +1 NFL corner. And when I told you where he ranked, and I say top 15, I'm not saying top 15 out of 32. I'm saying top 15 out of 64 plus corners. That's where he ranks. And if you include slot guys, the number gets even bigger. So he is a bona fide #1 corner. I can't wait to see him in blue. And stay tuned for William Golston coming next. And if you haven't, check out this video on Javon Holland.